whatever. And I was telling him to move his feet, and people like, well, that's why you kept telling me, because listen, if you don't take the first instruction, I can't give you another instruction after that. Because if you're gonna stand right in front of the fighter, I mean, that's not from your advantage. That's not the advantage point for you as the fighter. But I think that this is what he would always say. It was just finally didn't work out for me. I would say always move, or do whatever, right? He said, if I'm right in front of them, then they right in front of me.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, well-renowned, multiple-time trainer of the year, future Hall of Fame trainer, Derrick James, former fighter himself, he responds now to the global viral interview done by his former fighter, former three-time welterweight world champion, former unified WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, now junior middleweight title contender, Errol the True Spence Jr., superstar boxer, who has 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout. Errol Spence sat down with Hall of Famer, 2-division undefeated champion, unified champion, Olympic gold medalist, now boxing podcaster and analyst, Andre S.O.G. Ward. And Andre Ward asked him about the biggest fight of his career, that being Errol Spence, which was against now retired greatest fighter of his era and generation, 5-division champion, 3-division undisputed champion, superstar boxer Terrence Bud Crawford, who retired now, 42 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 wins by way of knockout. They fought July of 2023. Errol Spence's response was he had a terrible training camp. He could not spar for 6 to 7 weeks going into the fight. And Andre, he said he had no southpaws preparing him. And he said that his relationship with Derrick James wasn't what people thought it was. So essentially, he kind of threw Derrick James under the bus, right? And stated that he had an injury also going into the fight. So now Derrick James is responding, and Derrick James said what I said. You knew what took place. It was unnecessary for you to put it out there. We're going to get into this. So Derrick James said it was unnecessary for you to put it out there and leave it open. It's not Terrence Crawford's fault, and it's not my fault. Then Derrick James goes on to reveal that he sparred for the first 2 weeks of the training camp. And supposedly, this is Derrick James' words, he says supposedly he got injured and we sparred on Monday. He was supposed to spar on Wednesday. Then his father, he said Errol Spence's father, Errol Spence Sr., told Derrick James he's not sparring anymore. They attempted to spar on, Derrick James said they sparred Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. He said on Saturday, they attempted to spar. He said Errol Spence got in the ring. They started sparring. Then he got out the ring and said he couldn't go. That's when he told Derrick James he had a rib injury. He said, well, you need to go get that checked out. Then Derrick James also stated that he had it in his contract, both of them, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, that if they suffered an injury, they could move the fight date back at least 3 months, right? Or max 3 months. So he could have moved it back to September, October. And he advised Errol Spence to move it back. As far as Errol Spence not getting his head off the line, he said he told Errol Spence, you got to get your head off the line. You got to move your feet. And Errol Spence told him consistently, if I'm in front of them and my head is on the line, that means that they on the line too. That means they in front of me. Essentially, so I ain't got to look for them. Now, what makes me believe that what Derrick James just stated, is because when Errol Spence was training with Blu-ray Fitness, he looked his best. But Errol Spence stated, I didn't want to train with Blu-ray because I could not train at my own pace. So he wanted to do things at his own pace, right? But let's keep listening to this. So Errol Spence said it was. Andre Ward said, so whose responsibility that? He said it was Derrick James. But Derrick James saying, your father is the one that told you and told me I can't spar. You can't spar no more.
But this day, that situation, he had to pay for it.
How vastly different were they?
This is what I'll say about that. Is that was my toughest training camp ever. With Crawford.
Fight.
Because you got to remember, I'm the sparring partner. I'm going 14 rounds, throwing punches nonstop, moving around, and I'm training 3 fights for 3 fighters. Anthony Joshua and Frank Martin, they both won their fights. They both sparred 3 days a week. So the only reason why he didn't spar because his father said he's not sparring, and he had an injury. So I don't even know why you would even say that. Like, leave it open as if you didn't, it was because of me, when in actuality, if you get injured the second week of sparring and your father say you're not sparring anymore, why should I get some sparring partners? We're not sparring. I had to accept the fact that I have to be that person. I have to be the person who throw mitts at him nonstop. I go to the gym, I go running, I work out, I stay fit. And so I'm working nonstop with all 3 of those guys. So I don't know what will make him say those things that he said, especially when there were people in the gym who saw me throw punches at him, who know why he wasn't sparring. It's like, it's life, man. What you want to do? I mean, it's like, if he didn't want to, pull out and reschedule, which, I mean, listen, man, most fighters don't want to do that. I think it's the fighter and Mr. Dog in him that really wants to just keep fighting a fight, opposed to, in their mind, it's like maybe it's a cowering out, or a different situation. But I mean, you have to go get it. I mean, that's what he did, and that's what he wanted to do or tried to do, I guess. And hey, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. No. No, I mean, I really don't. No, I didn't think that. I thought, I was, because it was going so well. Only thing we weren't doing was sparring, but I was the sparring partner. Everybody in Vegas and the gym, he was going 14 rounds with Derrick on the mitts, right? He's fighting a 12-round fight, so I said, okay, we'll go 14 rounds, some days 16 rounds. And so it's like, I never knew he had that ideal. He felt like that. I mean, if you go into a fight knowing you're gonna lose, you're gonna do just what you want, just what you believe you're gonna do. With Spence-Crawford, because he prepared for that version of Errol Spence fought Ugas, that Errol Spence fought Sean Porter. That's what he prepared for. So it's not. I mean, being injured, that's part of the game. I mean, it's not. You can't. It's rarely that you can talk to a fighter and say they were never injured into going into any fight. I mean, I really was focusing on his boxing and his movement in the locker room, so I wasn't even focused on that aspect of it.
And so you heard that. You can listen to this interview in its totality on Brian Custer Last Stand podcast. And he also says that he was the one that told Errol Spence, well, if you're not going to pull out the fight, then you're going to have to get shots in your ribs. So, man, it's sad to see how this went. But let me know what y'all think, man. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. It's your boy Blue signing off. I'm gone. Peace.